New Mexico Crime Files, a deep dive into the archives, shocking and notorious cases, the arrests and what led to them, and what happened to the suspect. Here are your hosts, Dean Staley and Jessica Garate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of New Mexico Crime Files. I'm KRQE's Dean Staley, along with Jessica Garate, my co-anchor. How are we doing, Jess?
Oh, doing great. Always a fun time for us.
Yeah.
Going through some of these cases.
Yeah, and this one is a familiar problem in New Mexico, the first crime that we're going to look at. And it is one of those sort of insane, you can't believe that someone is driving in this state.
You know, and this is a problem that has plagued New Mexico for the decades we've been reporting. Unfortunately, if you do a Google search on wrong way drunk drivers, you just get this long list of cases going over and over, something we just haven't managed to solve. But I mean, we even have barriers on I-25 because it was so prevalent. Like it's
right. You've got those cable barriers now because to keep people from crossing over, and just a nightmare. So this story is from April of 2022. So just a few years ago in Farmington, an impaired driver driving on the wrong side of the road and going 100 miles an hour at different times. So a pretty scary one. Let's take a look.
Hello?
A cordial enough beginning after Farmington police pull over a wrong-way driver last month.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're driving on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
Just a couple of minutes earlier, the officer was waiting on the side of the road, speed gun out, after getting reports of a driver in a Toyota Corolla doing 100 coming his way.
Vehicle northbound in a southbound lane.
He was now well under the speed limit, but now he was a wrong-way driver, and he stayed in the wrong lanes for another minute or so despite the lights and siren behind him. Crossing the San Juan and finally stopping outside the speedway on the edge of town. At first, the officer thinks the driver is having a medical episode, but he quickly realizes what's really going on.
Have you been drinking alcohol today?
No.
The officer also realizes this isn't a typical DWI stop.
How old are you? How old are you?
82.
Well, almost. According to court documents and his two listed birthdays, George Platero is actually either 80 or 81. Either way, he tried to pull one of the oldest tricks in the drunk driving book.
Can I see your water?
The water bottle is full of vodka. Platero would later admit it was a mix of Smirnoff Minis. But testing the 80-year-old proved difficult.
Do you have them? I'm going to move all these.
He couldn't walk and he couldn't blow into a breathalyzer. They had EMTs check him out.
He was doing about 100.
What?
You were.
Platero, who said he'd made about a 10-mile trip from Shiprock, failed to understand the gravity of the situation. Then came some advice, albeit too little and way too late.
Oh my God.
You're getting there in a hurry.
You can't be living life like you're back in your teens, buddy.
Platero kept mentioning his son could come and get him, but in the end, Platero is gently taken to jail for what could be a very long time.
We're not going to slap them on your heart, okay? All right?
Cuffing an old man?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we
I'm
have
sorry.
to.
Man, okay, so the officers in this case being very delicate, very solicitous, very gentle with this old man. They realize, okay, he's so drunk. We got to be careful not to let him fall down. They're kidding him about, hey, you're not a teenager anymore. You can't keep this up. So there's a little bit of humor and a little bit of tenderness here. But imagine how drunk you have to be going 100 miles an hour the wrong way down the interstate and have no idea. Just, when they tell him you're on the wrong side of the road and he has no idea. I mean, this is like almost like a zombie behind the wheel that's just driving with no perception of what's around him.
No, you've got a cop, you've got lights behind you, still have no clue. And then just watching him trying to take all the tests, he's just stumbling everywhere. To imagine that he's behind the wheel is just unbelievable.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's shocking. When you see this, you think, how is it that there aren't more deadly accidents on our roadways?
Absolutely. Another thing, too, shines a light on another issue that our state faces. This is his 8th DWI. And so this has been going on for a long time for this guy, and it just shows the problem. And this is just one of those states. I just remember like coming here, and I mean, even in the early, like you have people have 8, 9, 10, 12, like it's just unbelievable. And I'm glad that we're finally like using our legislature to tighten some of those laws and start putting people behind bars after having this many. Now, this is an interesting situation because of his age.
Right.
Yeah.
And we should mention, too, the court systems are so far behind, really, they're just catching up to this idea of multiple DWI drivers, so that after you get, your third or your fourth, there's mandatory sentences that you have to get your fifth, your sixth. But in this case, he pleaded to 7 prior, so this made it his 8th, which gives him a mandatory sentence. But they couldn't find all the documents for the 7 priors. I mean, he pleaded guilty to them, sort of saying, yeah, that sounds about right. And so he pleaded to that so that this could be his 8th by law. But the fact is that in all these smaller districts and these all around the state, sometimes they don't have the paperwork, or they can't find the paperwork because it's happened in different districts, to figure out how many drunk driving arrests and convictions you've already had.
Yeah, and it can be really difficult. We've done it where we can go onto the court system and try to find information about somebody. You can't find it because when they switched to online, they lost a lot of those records. You can't find them anymore.
And here's a pro tip for our viewers. Sometimes when you hear us report he's been arrested for this so many times, that's because we're trying to be absolutely accurate with the facts, and we don't know that he's been convicted necessarily.
Right.
7 times. But we can see that there have been arrests for this. So sometimes you'll hear us in a report saying he's been arrested this many times for drunk driving, and we won't say that he's been convicted because we just don't know for sure. And so we're certainly not going to make that mistake. But when you hear that's part of what we're doing as reporters, is trying to be accurate about what we absolutely do know to be fact.
Right. So he did end up pleading, he was sentenced to 12 years. The judge suspended 2 with time served, and he was given a total of 9 years, 8 months in the Department of Corrections. So pretty stiff penalty for him.
Yeah, and sort of heartbreaking as well, because you think this is probably a long-time hardcore alcoholic. He's probably been to treatment a number of times. Who knows if he'll even get sober in prison? I mean, he'll be, obviously be sober in prison because you won't have access to alcohol, but you wonder if even after years in the system, if you come out, if you don't just fall back into drinking. Who knows?
Or I mean, because of his age, I mean, he's spending 9 years there. Like
he may not.
He might.
This man may die in prison. That's just the honest truth of it. Yeah.
And so a year ago, he tried to have his sentence reduced, but the judge did deny him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no leniency in this case, especially, I mean, when you've got that kind of record.
And as a judge, as a judge looking at that, don't you have to think, okay, the minute I let you out, or if you get out a day earlier, that's just another day that you will absolutely be on the road drinking and driving again, right? There's just...
He hasn't shown that he's ever going to learn his lesson.
Yeah. Really a tough one. So the next story, when we come back, has to do with another one of these sort of scary chases. Police are trying to arrest who is not about to give up.
And in this case, they're so desperate to get away, they don't care who is in their way, including if they know the person. We'll have that coming back. Welcome back, everyone. So this next case, it's caught on video. It's super scary. This guy is at a gas station, and he's wanted on a warrant, and police try to stop him, and he's doing everything he possibly can to get away. And it just shows you how desperate and how he doesn't care about anyone that gets in his way, including his partner who's out pumping gas.
Almost kills his partner, crushes his partner against the gas pumps in this case, trying to flee from police, and police fire on him in this instant, which is crazy in this area, right?
Then he takes off.
Yeah.
And he takes off onto dirt roads, and police are trying to navigate and trying to figure out, I mean, this guy's going at high-speed chase, trying to stop him, but also keep everyone around them. You'll see a lot of people in this video that he could have hurt.
Right. And one of the big questions at the end of these chases, you have shooting, you have him running into somebody, he's taking police on this chase into the rural area, back roads sort of thing. Why he says he ran. That's in this story from 2023, and the reporter here is Madison Connor.
A state police chase through the hills near Las Vegas after an officer shot at a man with warrants. It started on a Friday afternoon in March. New Mexico State Police pull into a Speedway gas station in Romeroville, south of Las Vegas. That's where 40-year-old Pedro Griego and his partner were getting gas. Police recognized Griego, who had warrants for aggravated battery and fleeing. Now, video shows when Griego noticed officers surrounding him, he got in his car and took off, hitting his partner into a gas pump on the way out.
I have an ambulance coming to check you out.
I'm okay.
Hold on.
As Griego took off from the gas station, that's when State Police Officer Pedro Delgado fired one shot. Later, he told investigators he shot at Griego, thinking the suspect was willing to do anything to get away.
At this moment, I knew Mr. Griego was going to put many more countless lives at danger, either on US 84, Interstate 25, or on the frontage road. So as Mr. Griego was accelerating past me, I fired one round.
Griego took off down US Highway 84 before taking a turn onto a private road. After being hit, Griego continued on that dirt road. Officers lost sight of him a few minutes later. 10 days later, Griego turned himself in and was arrested. In an interview, he explained why he ran.
I feared for my life. That's the only reason I took off.
Griego, who hid out for nearly 2 weeks, wouldn't tell police where he was, but he says his family encouraged him to surrender.
I can't be doing this. I can't do it. I don't want to kill my wife. I don't want to kill my kids. I don't want to get killed myself.
Madison Connor, KRQE, News 13.
All right, so let's start with this idea that I'm running from police because I fear for my life.
Yes.
Like, or
No
maybe
one's
just,
buying it, buddy.
Yeah, maybe get out of your car, let them put the cuffs on you, or figure out why
Yeah.
why they want to talk to you. You know, this idea that you're going to race, you know, in this really dangerous way down the highway. You've got a cop shooting at you. That you're not making things more dangerous is crazy.
It is a crazy chase, and just, you know, police are shooting at him while he's moving because they're like, this guy doesn't care about anybody near him, and you can see all these people on the highway next to him and don't care. And the poor woman that his partner that he runs over and like almost crushes, doesn't run over,
Right.
but almost crushes, hits her and like almost crushes her into the gas station.
Yeah,
pump.
so he's shown the disregard. I want to make this point again too. I don't know what it takes to be a police officer when someone like this, who seems to have no regard for life, no regard for the safety of others, takes you on a chase and then turns off the highway and goes into some crazy back roads kind of place. I mean, you just have to be thinking as a police officer, okay, get ready. He's going to jump out with a gun. This is going to be a shootout. You just don't know, right? A lot of credit to these people who track down folks like this, and I just can't believe people are still running. You know, you got away this time, but guess what? They know who you are. They know where you live.
They're going to find you.
Yeah.
And it usually doesn't end this way. Usually you're caught. So it doesn't pay to take off from them. And then you also see when they're chasing him, like they're on these narrow roads that are just, going up the mountains, just a dangerous situation the entire time. And again, you can only hide out for so long.
And probably not the most rational. I mean, I'm saying that rationally, none of this makes sense. But these aren't rational people, especially in that moment, I guess, right? Who knows what he's done or what he's afraid people are going to find out he's done or what he'll be charged. Who knows? So, but really crazy. And we're just thankful that this didn't end worse. Yeah.
So Pedro Griego was charged in April of 2023 with aggravated fleeing a police officer, criminal damage to property, and reckless driving. In October of that year, he pled guilty to 2 cases of aggravated fleeing from an officer, one from this incident, and then another one from back in 2019. So he's got a history of doing this. He was sentenced with good time to 1 year and 4 months in the Department of Corrections. And then again, this happens all the time too. He gets out of jail in 2024 and has already violated his probation by 2025. He's received 2 traffic tickets, and he doesn't have insurance and registration on the car that he was driving.
And I have to say, what's fascinating too is I don't see charges for this isn't ag assault, this isn't attempted murder, this isn't. It sounds like just sort of low level trouble, but causing a lot of chaos in the meantime.
Yeah, these are those guys that just get out. They only serve a year. They get out. They're back to doing it immediately. These are the guys they need to put away.
Yeah. Tough one. So the next one falls under the next one. We come back. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, this one falls under the we love this category, don't we? The dumb crooks category.
They made it really easy for police to find them. So we'll be back with that story. Teen, we're going to go back to 2010.
Yes, ma'am.
You probably have not heard this in a while, but do you remember when people were doing spice?
Oh, yes. Spice. Yes.
It's like bath salt, spice. We had all those crazy stories where people were out of their mind eating other people's faces.
And here was the problem. Whether you believe in legalized marijuana or you don't, and I think we're finding there's more problems with legalized pot than some people may have thought, and I think there may be more. But before pot was legal, spice was it, baby. Yeah. Go to 7-Eleven and get some spice. Go to the head shop and get some spice, which, as Fernando I think was saying, was like I think it's just whatever plant you could spray pesticide on and smoke it. Like that's exactly what it is. It's just poison. Smoke it and see what happens to your brain.
There were some interesting cases coming out of during that time during that decade.
Yeah,
people doing spice.
And this, by the way, just so this is our dumb criminal segment. So, and I don't know if the spice did not make them any smarter. And bath salts too. Wasn't this Miami where people were doing like bath salts in Miami, and then they were trying to eat people's faces?
And,
like there was a pattern. It wasn't random.
That
it was
whole
like
decade was a little weird.
Bath salts were made turn people like literally into cannibals.
Yeah. So this is back from 2010, and these are two crooks that are going to rob the store. And they're going in.
Great idea. Great plan.
They have this great plan. They get in.
Great plan.
But then they do the dumbest thing ever and lead police right to them.
Yes, and sometimes we do dumb criminal stories where people leave something like, I dropped my wallet
and
then I took off with the cash register, and then they saw my wallet and they're like, we should go to Dean's house because I think he stole this. Here's his address. Let's go ask him where the cash register is. Right. This is not one of those. This is not what was left behind. This is what they took with them.
Let's go and take a look at this story. This is from Amanda Goodman.
They're getting the chain to chain the door.
At 4:20 this morning, most people were probably sleeping, but police say these three weren't just up, they were up to no good.
It's scary.
Bosque Farms police say the group broke into the Bubble Lounge smoke shop in Peralta, and the store's 16 surveillance cameras saw everything. The group backed up their pickup, tied a chain to the bars on the door, and hit the gas, ripping off one door completely. Once inside, they went straight for the good stuff.
Almost everything in the showcase, which is the most expensive thing in the store, was taken off, from salvia, spice, and cigarettes.
Salvia and spice are legal herbs that produce a high when smoked. Bubble Lounge owner Hisham Salimi says he's looking at more than $15,000 in damage and stolen goods. But it wasn't hard for police to track the brazen burglars down. They still had the store's door attached to their getaway car. Police say the door was dragged for about a quarter of a mile. It ended up in a mobile home here at 24 Sunflower. They say the tracks the door left behind led them straight to the suspects. Officers arrested 23-year-old Paul Henry, 19-year-old Brianna Gallegos, and 24-year-old Bernadette Saavedra, and say all three fessed up. A search of the house turned up the store's front door and some of the stolen stash.
This was pretty easy because they made it so easy, dragging the heavy steel door all the way home, leaving the marks like they did on the roadways.
In Peralta, Amanda Goodman, KRQE News 13.
This is even worse than I remembered it.
I love it. The truck's taking off. They've got the door behind them. They go straight to their home.
I know,
and they keep the door.
Yeah, for some reason I thought this was like miles away, and that the cops. No, they're a quarter of a mile away. This is like once around the track. That's a quarter, right?
Yeah.
They're right down the road from the head shop or from the smoke shop, and they still have the door with them. Like no one thought, hey, we should go take the door or leave the door in a ditch somewhere. No. We're doing this.
No, we got to take off. We got to
get busy with our spice. Yeah, don't do it, kids. Yeah. Whatever you do.
And you can see they're so excited. They're like, "Oh, this worked. We got it. Like we're in."
Yeah, master.
Did not think about.
It's not Ocean's 11, people. It's not that sophisticated. It's not Ocean's 13. It's just like Peralta with nothing else to do. Little boredom in Peralta, right, in Bosque Farms. So
you would think out of all of them, one would have been like, hey guys,
Jess, you're right. You need, when you have three people like that, please, you just bring someone along that's this much smarter than ever. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot. We're not looking for genius level stuff. We're just looking for someone who's like, guys, I don't know. I'm looking out the window and I see the track that we left that leads right to this place.
Yeah. Maybe let's get rid of the door.
Yeah.
So Paul Henry pled guilty to burglary and was sentenced to 18 months in the Department of Corrections. All 18 months were suspended.
Plus a year for being a habitual offender. Right?
Yeah.
And that was suspended as well.
What is going on here?
Yeah.
So, of course, it's going to be a shocker. Since 2010, he's been busy. He's been arrested 14 times in the last 15 years. So each year he's getting arrested for something. His last arrest happened in September of 2024, and those charges were dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
These are the cases that just have you banging your head against the wall. Like
they are, but let's share this with our viewers, because you and I know this as longtime reporters, and anyone in the criminal justice system knows this too. Cops know this. Unless you're out there hurting people, right? Unless you're out there doing violent crime, which is attempted murder or real aggravated assault, you're knifing someone or shooting someone or running them over with your car. Unless your crimes rise to that level, there's almost no room in our jails or our prisons for these kinds of people who are essentially property crime people, right? Which the good news is, hopefully they're not out there doing worse crimes. The bad news is that is a lot of nuisance crimes, a lot of fear in neighborhoods. Oh, did they break into my car? Did they steal a car? I mean, there's all sorts of that sort of level of crimes, but very rarely do those crimes rise to the level, even with the habitual offender, which you mentioned, right?
Yeah,
even that charge gets suspended, which, the lawmakers put that in the law because they say, hey, we've had enough. If you're a habitual offender, we want to give you extra time. Even that gets suspended. So there's just rarely does it happen that people like this end up doing real time.
And they're just a nuisance. Like, you have the store that's going to have to pay thousands of dollars to fix. There was so much damage done. And it's these people that are just like hurting everyday citizens who are breaking into cars and, they're not getting put away. The other two people in this case pled guilty. They were given conditional discharges once they completed probation.
So I'm going to say just this, these people going are dumb, in the competition for the dumbest criminal. I'm not sure they're the dumbest because we've had some pretty bad ones, but we'll put them on the list.
Yeah,
well, you're in the consideration,
okay.
just so you know.
We'll rank them at the end of the year
you made the
and
list.
let you know which ones.
Yeah.
Oh, always great to have video of that stuff too.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they find their way at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dean, that is going to do it for another New Mexico Crime Files today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good visiting with you.
Good visiting. We'll do it again next week.
See you guys.
Okay.